Okay, I am back with you this afternoon to show you how to color icing and to pipe flowers and leaves, a variety of flowers and leaves. So I have a Wilton Moss Green paste color here, and I'm going to take a toothpick and I am going to dip that in the moss green, which actually that's kind of a lot. And I'm gonna kind of swirl it into the icing. And you can see I have, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of a cup of icing here. And then I'm taking my little offset spatula and I'm just stirring that paste coloring in. Now I'm fond of this moss green. I kind of like my colors sort of more natural. So I like this color for leaves. I think it looks very natural. I feel like I can smear the rest of whatever was on that toothpick on there and stir it up. So that's paste color. You can dip it in. You have gel colors, and I'm telling you, I would probably do the same exact thing with the gel color that I did here. You might want to pour out a drop of gel onto a little piece of paper and then use a toothpick. Now for the actual flowers, I am going to use a lemon yellow color, and this is a powdered color, so I just want to show you the difference, how this works. So these are powders, and they get tapped in just a little at a time. Kind of looks very bright, and then we just stir it in. And I went to the school of less is more color because I'm a little weary of food coloring, so I'm not, unless I'm forced to add a lot of color for something, I'm going to always start with a small amount. That might be a little, obviously not quite enough to give us a pale yellow flower. So I'm just going to keep tapping until I get to where I need to be. So what I'm looking for is just a very pale, pretty yellow kind of flower, and we're getting there. All right, let me add a little bit more and stir it in, and it's best to be patient and do it this way. All right, I'm satisfied with that. This is from the lady who prefers white, but okay. So you may want more color. I think for our experiment here, this is perfectly fine. So I've added a little bit of 10x sugar to this icing to make it a little bit stiffer. I have fitted this bag that I originally had the white in with a 104 tip, that's your petal tip. And I am going to put this yellow in the bag, and I'm gonna slip it over this little plastic water glass to make the whole project a little bit easier. And I am just going to slip it and use the spatula to scrape it against the side. Once again, I'm not overfilling the bag because it will do you no good. All right, I think that is about a sufficient amount for me to push out of the bag for a flower. So I'll put this on the side, cover this up so we don't have a crash. You want to make sure you cover your ice or your colors up, because they will dry out and degrade, and you don't want that to happen. So we have that. Now we have the green, and I have this bag fitted with a 104 tip also, I guess. So I may have to do some switching, which is no problem. That's why we have the coupler. So I'm gonna stick this green in this bag and go around, and you know, when you have a client or you're doing a cake, you have to really do what the client wants. So if they want dark colors, well, then that's what you're going to have to do. All right, so I think one of the first things that we're going to pipe with that rose petal tip, and it's the same procedure. You lift the bag, we push the icing down. This one's going to have some white in it because I just didn't really clean the bag out, which is fine. We'll be piping a little bit of two colors, but I do have a big air pocket here. Let's see if we can, there we go. All right, so again, as always, we want to make sure we push this down so it doesn't come oozing out the top. See how it likes to try and sneak out the top? We can use this. We can use that. All right. And once again, squeeze the bag, or cinch the bag. Give it a little squeeze and see what we get. All right, we get a band of icing. Now, I want you to look very carefully at the end of this tip. It has a narrow end on the top and a wide end on the bottom. 90% of what you pipe with this tip, you always have to have the narrow end at the top, okay? So the first thing we're gonna pipe is you wanna get behind me? The first thing you're gonna wanna pipe is something called a rosebud. So you're gonna take the narrow end, put the wide end on the surface with the narrow end up, and you're gonna squeeze out a back petal, just like that. So looks like a horseshoe. I've stopped squeezing, and now I'm gonna give it one hard push, and I'm gonna pull away. Again, wide end is on the bottom, narrow end is up. I'm gonna squeeze and come back like a horseshoe. I've stopped squeezing, and now I'm gonna force a good portion of icing out of the bag to look like a bud, and I pull away. All right, I'm gonna do it one more time, and then you can repeat. You can watch this multiple times. I'm gonna squeeze and come back. I'm gonna stop squeezing, and then I'm gonna squeeze hard to get that bud and pull away.